Emissions from fossil fuels are the dominant cause of global warming. Phasing them out has become a global priority. In this episode of Panorama Africa, we're in one of the most fossil fuel dependent countries in the world, South Africa, where we take a look at the impact of the coal mining sector as the country's transition to renewable energy slowly gathers pace. Coal-fired electricity has lit up homes and powered the South African economy since the late 19th century. At the time, coal was plentiful and cheap. It has since become one of the most climate-costly energy sources yet, leaving a tainted legacy in its wake.
After they've extracted the coal, destroyed the environment, destroyed all our water sources, they disappeared. And here we are sitting with an environmental liability of which we pay with our health and our lives.
The city of Emalahleni, meaning place of coal, is the heart of South Africa's coal mining sector. Situated in Mpumalanga province, it holds the largest concentration of coal mines and coal power plants in the country. Each year, new mines open up, bringing them closer and closer to where low-income communities live.
Sihlukumezeke kakhulu ngale mayini. Ayisalali nasebusuku imishini igijima waya. I-dust yona ngisakhuluma ngayo ngoba sihlala phakathi kwayo. Every day uvuka kune-dust. Kusho ukuthi vele siphefumula yona, sidla yona, vele sesiphila yona. If ungacheka manje abantwana bethu, amehlo abo sewabovu kabuhlungu kwangathi abantu abadala ababhemayo abaphuzayo. Iyaba-affecta kakhulu lento le.
Of significance is the coal-related air pollution that is causing respiratory problems, including asthma in children.
Uqala kwa princess ukuze ngibone ukuthi bekane asthma. Waba ne-flu ngamisa esibhedlela akakhoni ukuphefumula kahle. Izinhliziyo zami ibuhlungu kakhulu ngoba angisiboni isidingo sawo la mayini because asibenefit next kibo because abantwana bayagula izindlu ziyamosheka. So lama mayini shuthi lakithi alese just ukugula kuphela.
Local residents say they feel exploited at the expense of coal mining companies and the country's economy. Homes are easily damaged by the vibration of heavy machinery and blasting that accompanies coal mining. Homeowners have been left frustrated and desperate. In a cruel irony, the informal settlements that lie in the shadows of power stations do not have electricity. To cook food and warm their homes, many residents opt to dig for leftover inferior coal from the discarded mine dumps that sit above sinkholes. It's a risky undertaking.
And then murepa malatlho go botlhoko ka re nthwela go phoshomela maphelo a batho a fela and le mo maoto re swele ka lebaka la re go tloga semoko se segolo ge le rwa yepa go tla malatlha mantši o fetsa go tsena go bala batho bantši.
The implementation of environmental regulations and the rehabilitation of coal fields has been inconsistent, causing many serious problems to the ecosystem. The consequences are being felt years later, even where mines have long closed.
This sinkhole is plus minus 30 meters deep. It is very dangerous because in some instances there are people who died because of these sinkholes. They are very deep, and where we are, it's informal, there's no electricity, at night it's very dark. Anything can happen.
The water system has also been affected by the old coal mining sites. Matthews has lived in Mpumalanga most of his life and has seen the lingering damage of this industry.
We are standing just in front of evaporation ponds. We call them acid mine drainage evaporation ponds from the old mine shafts, coal mine shafts. It contains heavy metals, dissolved heavy metals, such as zinc, such as copper, aluminum, and so forth. But what is worse, this water is untreated. It flows into the river untreated and mixes with the water in the river and consumed by community members down the stream.
Coal mining in eMalahleni started in 1896. Over a century later, the effects are still being felt by communities in the soil they live on, the water they drink, and the air they breathe.
The coal mining industry is not sustainable at all. It's about time that South Africans wake up and we need to smell the coffee and say alternatives, renewable energy, wind turbines, solar panels, agroecology must be key.
South Africa is the world's 7th largest producer and consumer of coal in the world, yielding an average of 224 million tons of coal each year. The country exports roughly 28% of this, but the majority, 72%, is sold domestically, firing up the power stations of the state-owned electricity provider, Eskom. Africa's biggest carbon emitter of greenhouse gases is feeling the pressure to retire its aging fleet of coal-fired power stations and cease investments in new coal projects. An announcement earlier this year from Chinese President Xi Jinping may help propel South Africa's efforts.
China will step up support for other developing countries in developing green and low-carbon energy, and will not build new coal-fired power projects abroad.
According to the CEO of Eskom, the announcement is in line with the state power utility's own shifting objectives.
We cannot disguise the fact that Eskom is in fact a very large emitter, not only of carbon, but also of sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide, as well as particulate matter. And we therefore have a duty to clean up the environment. The best way to protect the health and also to create future job opportunities and stimulate the economic environment in Mpumalanga is precisely to engender this just energy transition.
South Africa's just transition includes decommissioning coal mines, creating new jobs for mine workers, investing in renewable energy, and ultimately achieving a net zero emissions target by 2050. In South Africa's Western Cape province, a unique partnership between South African firm BTE Renewables and Chinese firm Goldwinds highlights the potential of China-Africa cooperation in the renewable energy sector. Barely a year old, the Excelsior wind farm in Swellendam is contributing clean energy directly into Eskom's national grid.
2020 December, we begin to production. We calculate we have benefit around 20,000 families per year. So that is very promising.
The Excelsior wind farm hopes to be a positive addition to this community, providing power as well as jobs and social development.
Goldwind, they have a policy that they only want people from the community, the local communities. They supply the jobs and then I can sort my family out, I can provide for my family.
This is a rural school and most of the kids come from farms around the school, and the parents and all the kids fall under low economic circumstances. They live with the basics. When BTE and Goldwin invest in our school, we will be able to get our learners to universities and to higher education institutions. And I think it will also have a great impact on our community.
True to China's own climate agenda, companies like Goldwinds serve as catalysts to Africa's green transition.
We always focus on the clean energy, and our main goals is from China and benefit the world. We do a lot of projects all over the world, and we are willing to helping the countries who focus on the clean energy.
For South Africa, breaking the coal dependency cycle is crucial for the climate and the health of communities.
We now have a very special video to share with you.
At this year's COP26 summit, the country's president announced an $8.5 billion deal to help end its reliance on coal and meet its 2050 climate pledge.
Bold action must start with accelerated decarbonization of our energy systems. This involves harnessing new technologies to reduce our dependence on high-emission fossil fuels, including unabated coal power.
By 2050, we will have between 78 and 85% renewable energy sources installed, some limited natural gas. There could be some legacy coal in that mix, but our forecasts are for a massive migration to renewable energy sources.
Coal has been a critical commodity in Africa, but its benefits are far outweighed by the cost to the environment and communities. But through key partnerships and with the abundant supply of wind and sun, Africa is uniquely positioned to transition to renewable energy, bringing power and progress to Africa for a clean and resilient future. Lindy Mtongana, CGTN, South Africa.